Hey guys, it's Jack here at Pro Hybrid. I'm going to bring you guys my week 1 game of the Showdown Battle League from Season 3. Today is going to be just a post commentary because I didn't want to focus on doing the live commentary mid-battle. I just wanted to do something afterwards. And compared to my other videos I did last season, this one's going to be much shorter because I don't have too much time to put into this. I'm not going to be doing a team builder because of the lack of time and for a couple other reasons. I'm just going to be going over the game today. I was facing the Atlanta Breviaries and Corey's team. He has a really solid team, and I knew this was going to be a tough match. I faced him back in Season 1, so I was really looking forward to this game being a long-awaited rematch. Just going over my team really quickly, I had a physically defensive Tangrowth, Milotic, and Nidoqueen because he has a ton of physical attackers. Really not that many special attackers like Altaria and Nidoking. They can be mixed. Mismagius is his only main special attacker, which Milotic deals with anyways, even without special defense investment. Other than that, Choice Banded Scizor, because it's a pretty good answer for things like Mega Altaria. I can U-turn on some stuff. I can U-turn on Skarmory even if it walls me. Life Orb Victini, because if Victini outsped everything on his team other than Mismagius and Scyther, if I was just a jolly nature, or I think I was naive in this case because I was mixed, and I wanted Life Orb so I can change attacks, and a pretty standard Mega Lopunny set. So I decided to lead with Milotic because it's a pretty good matchup against basically everything on his team. And I go for the Magic Coat, which I had on here in case I'm trying to 1v1 a Skarmory, and you want to set up rocks or spikes against me, and I don't want him to hazard stack, so I wasn't bringing hazard removal this week. And I go for the Toxic on his Slowking, which is going to be helpful, and I'm trying to avoid him putting Toxic on me, so I go for the Magic Coat again. He goes into his Mega Altaria, and he tells me in the chat that he's missing one of his moves, and I learned later that he was missing Earthquake. I think he forgot to put it onto his move, which kind of sucks. I talked to him afterwards though, and he was jolly, and Nidoqueen physically defensive with my set. It lives a +2 Earthquake from Jolly Mega Altaria 100% of the time. So in the long run, doesn't make too much of a difference. I go for the Thunderbolt because he goes for Skarm, and he pivots back into Slowking. And I go back into my luck, and there are a few stally sections here because Slowking wasn't that big of an issue for my team because it really didn't do much. If it was a Calm Mind set, it may have been a bit of a problem, but Izzy puts the poison on me. But this current set, where it's kind of like a stall out, so not much really happens between my Milotic and Slowking. I go into Scizor here because I want to get some initiative, but he goes into Nidoking. I'm pretty sure he's going to have the flame or the fire move as he goes for the flamethrower. So go back to my Milotic, which is my answer for Nidoking. He might have the Thunderbolt, but it won't knock me out of this range, and a Scald will almost OHKO it, and Nidoking is like the biggest threat to my team. If that thing goes down, I'm pretty sure that my Wall Core can handle everything else. So this next few turns is kind of just stally. Eventually Toxic damage starts racking up so much that I basically have to switch out, and I'm pretty sure I go into Tangrowth, or I might go into Scizor. I'm pretty sure I'm really hesitant. I go into Tangrowth because I was hesitant to go into Scizor just in case he goes for a Skull and he burns me. That'd be really bad. But I end up doubling back into Milotic because as he goes back into Mega Altaria, because again Milotic deals with basically everything on his team. And I immediately go into Nidoqueen, which is my main answer for this thing, and he decides to just sort of fully set up as I go for the Sludge Wave. Doesn't knock him out, but it does an absolute ton because it's sheer force boosted. I take the return really well. Again, if he had Earthquake, I would have lived it guaranteed. If he was Adamant, it was a roll, but he was jolly, he told me later. But I'm going to keep Nidoqueen around for later because it deals with Skarmory. It could probably take like one hit from Entei, maybe not the range it's currently at. Oh, in this play, I'll stop here for a second. So earlier in the game, his Nidoking went for a Flamethrower on my Scizor as I switched into Milotic. At this point in the game, I was playing pretty safe, kind of relying on my Wall Core, but I was convinced he wasn't going for a Flamethrower. He's going to try to catch my Milotic on the switch. I knew from Calcs that he was most likely like some sort of Life Orb set. I knew he wasn't Scarfed. And I knew I could take one of any hit that wasn't Flamethrower, so so this Earth Power does a lot, but that was the absolute max roll I could have gone, and I really wanted this damage off of Nidoking because it is the biggest threat to my team. And if that and Mega Altaria go down, then basically Milotic walls his team. So I took the damage with Scizor to get that damage off, and he goes into Entei, which is fine because I can just go Milotic, which takes literally anything from this thing. On Marvel scales, because I'm poisoned, my defense is actually boosted even more. As he goes for the extreme speed, I guess trying to catch him on the Bullet Punch. And as I just go for Recover, and again, it's kind of like a stally section between my Milotic and his Slowking. I go into Tangrowth. I don't want my Tangrowth to be poisoned, but I can go for a Giga Drain, and I can sort of deal with him that way. Oh yeah, double back. I double switch because I'm pretty sure he's going to Skarmory. He's going to, if I'm on Tangrowth, he's going into either Skarmory, Entei, or Nidoking. He'll go into any of those three, and Milotic will deal with all three. So in that situation, I don't really have a reason to stay in. I might as well just double out back into Milotic. As he goes into Slowking, so the cycle kind of just repeats itself, where I go into Milotic, he goes into Slowking. I might go back in. I think I go back into Tangrowth. Yeah, I should go back into Tangrowth. So not much is happening. I want to go into Scizor so I can U-turn on this thing and get a big hit off or get initiative, but I'm pretty sure he's going to go for an attack, and I don't want to take that damage. I predict the Skarmory on Switch Fish go for the HP Fire, as I'm pretty sure he just roosts for a bit. And knowing that he's going to start spamming Roost, I'm pretty sure this is the turn I go into Victini. Yeah, he goes into Nidoking as I go into Victini, and I know I outspeed this thing, and I can take a Sucker Punch. I know he's on Scarf, so I go for the V-Crate, and that does an absolute ton to this thing. Life Orb, so I can change it up to Bolt Strike, because he goes into Entei, and Entei does not take this hit very well, so this will knock Entei down to a quarter of its health. So Victini gets in there and does a lot of damage to his team. As I go back into Milotic, and I take the Bulldoze perfectly fine, doesn't do anything, as I'm pretty sure he just goes back into Slowking at this point, and again, the cycle will just kind of repeat itself. I want to keep Milotic healthy though, because Nidoking's still a threat until that thing's down, until Entei's down, because if I lose Milotic, Entei becomes a big problem for my team. I really can't switch into it. Although it's low on health, and if I can set up my Stealth Rocks, which Nidoqueen has, then I'll be fine. So again, it's kind of a stally section. I kind of want to go into Scizor and U-turn, but I also don't want to take the risk of Scizor dying. So eventually I just go back into Tangrowth, and he goes into Skarmory again, and again, similar thing to before, I go for HP Fires, trying to weaken it, but then I just see this as an opportunity to go back into Victini, as again, he goes back into Nidoking. So at this point something dies, and he decides to sack off Nidoking, which is great, which means, at this point Milotic just walls the rest of his team, depending on if Mismagius is like Specs Thunderbolt or whatever it is. I'm not going to stay in, we go back into Milotic, he tries to go the Extreme Speed, and yeah, I'll just skip through these couple turns, because again, he goes into Slowking, I go into Tangrowth, the same thing's been happening all game, so, and I go for the Giga Drain, so I want to see if I can potentially catch, I want to hit something on the switch, doesn't really matter though. He goes for the Roost, so I go back into Victini. I know from this point he's Rocky Helmet, so another reason I don't want to go into Scizor at this point is because if he's Rocky Helmet, I lose Scizor, and I want to maintain as high differential as I can. And at this point, I can just go for the Bolt Strike, and he can either sack off Slowking or anything else, because nothing's taking this hit. So at this point, he goes back into Skarmory. I'm not going to stay in. He goes for the Roost. I go back into Nidoqueen, which has Thunderbolt. Yeah, he sacks off Entei, which means Milotic just deals with the rest of his team. So at this point, it's basically GG. I've got the game wrapped up. I do want to preserve differential though, so I go into Milotic. And I get the Scald Burn on the Skarmory, I believe, this turn. No, I get the next turn. Although I'm still sort of stalling here. I get on the Mismagius, I forget exactly how it goes down. No, I get a Scald Burn eventually, but I'm kind of just walling this thing, and I don't think I'm going to get a 6-0. I'm probably just going to go for the 5-0 at this point, sack off my Milotic to get damage, and then go into Nidoqueen and win. I think I get the Scald Burn on this hit, if I remember. Yeah, I do. So Milotic goes down, I go into Nidoqueen, I press Thunderbolts, and then he goes back into Mismagius. I can take one of any hits. I thought he might have Destiny Bond, but I wasn't entirely convinced. I didn't want to do anything stupid, so I should go for the hit. So I end up getting the 4-0 instead of the 6-0, or instead of the 5-0, but that's really not a big deal. Like a 4-0 win for the first week is still pretty solid, so I'll take that. So good game to Corey. Yeah, it was kind of stally for a bit, because it was like my bulky water versus his bulky water, and not much really could happen, but later in the game, every time I got an opportunity to go into Victini, I was basically able to knock out something on his team, and that was really effective for me. Didn't even need to use Mega Lopunny that game, but considering he had Skarmory and Slowking and a few other things, like, I'm not sure how useful it was going to be anyways, but Nidoqueen put in a lot of work instead of Victini. My wall core did really well, so I was happy that the team did for the first week. So thanks for watching this video, guys, if you're watching the whole way through. Next week we have the Irvine, Igglybuffs, and Chabin, and I'll see you guys then. Peace.